Community mental health and curanderismo, because in either way, you would have somehow gone down that path and become healers anyway. But now I think we're at a place and space where we have all the Ph.D.s, the Pachucos highly developed, that know how to write books. There's no magic to it. And I'm going to offer that to you, to this community. This book that Dr. Carillo helped put together, we can do that here. And if you're willing to, those of you that are doing whatever work you're doing, and you're willing to write, I'll work with you as an editor, but also as whatever role I can play. And in a year and a half, we can have our own book out of Denver that is the evidence-based, the practice-based evidence that we're talking about, that we're trying to get out into the public. Because in an information society, in a modern society, and because of what they believe about knowledge, they believe that the only way to find knowledge, true knowledge, is through the scientific approach. Well, whose scientific approach? And so we fell trapped to that, but we're at a different space. So at the end, we'll offer that again. This is, again, in my conversations with her. I live the life of a curandera. A curandera is born with a gift and has to learn how to use the power of goodness for another. I could never forsake that role. I could do a lot of things, but I could never quit being a curandera. I respect all people and their uniqueness and individuality. Life is what you make of it. You can spend it browbeating yourself, or you can use your precious time on this earth in doing good for yourself and for others. Women are strong people. We are special. We create life. We take care of life. We follow the cycles of the universe. We are the mystics. We are powerful healers, sensitive to those things that sustain life. This crazy world is full of damaged and wounded spirits, and it is women who heal those wounded spirits. The paradox of healing is that you have to go through the journey of pain in order to be healed. A successful life is a sojourn that requires the practice of values such as love, compassion, and spirituality. Without spirituality, we remain empty castles that will eventually turn into dust. A healthy spirit is one that has learned how to love himself or herself, and hence love others. When you stop loving, you stop living. You have to have faith. My faith in my God is my salvation now, and whatever my destiny holds for me. My relationship with my Creator, my God, is extraordinary. He has never forsaken me. He has provided me with strength, especially at times when I needed it. My job was to teach Western healers that there were other forms of healing that had been in existence for centuries from ancient cultures with wise and knowledgeable people. I let them know that ethically, they did not have the right to take away those special gifts that help people from different cultures heal themselves. It did not matter that they did not believe or understand those cultures and practices. They did not have the right to discard them. They knew that instinctively. I don't believe that I did anything exceptional. I did what I was supposed to do as a curandera. It was others in the medical community that ranted and raved about it.
So my name is Ricardo Antonio Enrique Carillo Chavez Santiesteban. But I thought my name was pendejo, estúpido, baboso. Because I was raised in a family with a miner from Nogales, Sonora, and a very humble, simple woman from Matehuala, San Luis Potosí. And my father was raised in a humble way, learned how to work with his hands, learned how to build adobe houses. But the man that I knew when I grew up was not that man. The man that grew up in Nogales, Sonora was cariñoso to his mother, would sing to her, play music for her, had friends, real friends, and helped build their family home with his hands. The man that I knew got drunk. The man that I knew beat my mother so severely that as a child I could hear the sounds go through my body, so that as a young man I felt like I had no backbone. I am a successful failure when it comes to drug treatment. I went to drug program after drug program. I went to 12 steps. I went to Narcotics Anonymous. I couldn't get clean and sober. So I became a successful failure. I became a chronic relapser. Until I found a group of men that decided they wanted to come together and learn how to pray together, learn how to be with each other. And in 1988, the National Compadres Network was born. It wasn't called that, we were called the Círculo de Hombres. We got 13 men from Northern California, 13 men from Southern California, and we got together and we prayed in this way. Just like the Carnal opened up the prayer, we prayed in that way. And the Creator guided us and directed us. And when I showed up to that first retreat, I was detoxing from heroin. But in that place, I had a place. I had a lugar. And people listened to me and they said, you know, you brought us together and take care of what you need to take care of. Leave it in the fire. Leave the carga in the fire. I thought, wow, carga, fire, makes sense. Hey, you know what? Tienes regalos. What? Yeah, you have gifts. I'm a successful failure, right? I got a Ph.D. and I can't get it together. I got a wife and 2 kids and I'm never home because I've got my nose someplace else. Either I'm working too much or, I'm using narcotics or I'm just not there. Why? Because my dad wasn't there. So in the Círculo, and you can find it, Círculo de Hombres, on my website, Ricardo Carillo, Ph.D.com. And after 20 years of being together, we're going to celebrate 30 years this year. Wow. 30 years. We believed that a healer connected to the cosmos, to the ancestors, that the healer was connected through his corazón, the tonality, and that we separated the carga through the teoria, which is really the liver. The liver is the underground. It's where we filter out the negativity. So healing for us is just very simple. Balance, rhythm, and harmony. You heal the mind, you heal the heart, and you heal the spirit. So another client that benefited from this approach was Lori, a 33-year-old mom speaking Mayan woman who is married and sired 2 children. The eldest daughter is age 12 and her son is 4 years old. She is currently married from her pueblo. She's married to a man from her pueblo in Guatemala. She is a rape victim. She was violated immediately, arriving from Guatemala 12 years ago by a gardener at the home where she arrived. She said in Español, her words, "Es que no puedo hablar de esto, tengo pena. I have so much shame. Cuando llegué, las señoras que me trajeron me iban a obligar a vender por dinero. No quería, pero me violó el jardinero y salí embarazada." Do I need to translate that? Okay. The woman that brought me here obligated me to prostitute to pay for my migration expenses. But the gardener raped me and I became pregnant with my daughter. I never accepted her as my own flesh and blood. She was a product of that rape. Now that's bad, right? Doesn't end there. Several years ago, she allowed her older brother to move in with her. He then sexually molested her daughter, the product of the initial rape upon her arrival. Profoundly gasping for breath, she had extreme difficulty disclosing and admitting that her own flesh and blood, her brother had violated her daughter. So her treatment required extensive bottom-up treatments to settle her enough to process the guilt and shame that she carried. She was given lavandra, to help her breathe. She was taught meditative respiration exercises. She was administered herbs for baths, el baño de nervios. And if anybody wants to learn about the baños, we'll be very happy to send you a copy. And referred to an acupuncturist who does avuncular acupuncture, they call it ear therapy. And to the sobadora, to reduce the nerve and body rigidity that she experienced. This process required several months and she could only tolerate the treatments bi-weekly. In time, she was able to accept her daughter, which is a big deal for esta señora. Sí, mi hija se está mejorando y ya está tocando el violín. Vamos a terapia juntas y ahora sueño con mi mami, her mother had passed, y me dice que todo va a salir bien. Yes, my daughter is healing. She's playing the violin, and we are attending therapy together. I dream with my mother, whom blesses me in my dreams. So, all of us, from our perspective, from a Mesoamerican perspective, have healing capabilities. Everybody has cargas, you have baggage that you learn how to put in the fire like I did. If I could recover, damas y caballeros, so can you.
Is acknowledge that we have, like, we carry that in our DNA. And today one of my students shared that we honored women in our life today for this special day, and we asked folks to share. And she said, I never met, she's biracial, she's white and Chicana, and she said, I never met my great-grandmother, but I heard so many beautiful, amazing things about her, and she started to share her story. And she said, but it makes me sad because I never met her, and I don't share any of that history. And I told her, no, wait, that is in your DNA. And we have genetic memory. And so when we are exposed to our traditions, when I smell lavender and rosemary, it takes me to a different place, and I have no explanation, but it's a place of soothing, and it's a place of comfort. And I don't know, but it's important that I acknowledge that that comes from somewhere. And so the work that we do at my organization is really acknowledging where these young people are coming from, where their families are coming from, and really looking at the strengths and the gifts that they bring. Because for so long, especially by systems, they have been shamed about their experience. And it's always been a negative thing, and it's never been a story of resilience, a story of love, a story of compassion, and like my ability to connect with people on a spiritual and emotional level, I think is rooted in my experience and the lack of acknowledgement that I had. You know, my mom, she had me at 15, and soon after she began using heroin, and she was a heroin addict for 18 years and was incarcerated because of her drug addiction, and she didn't know how to find her medicine, and so she looked other places for that medicine. And when she got out of prison is when we reconnected. I was almost 17 years old. And my mom still to this day carries a lot of guilt about that. And you know, my grandmother, who I want to honor today, Nimpa Montoya, passed away a year ago. And when we were getting ready for the service and putting together a slideshow, there was a picture of me and my nana and my little brother and my mom, surprisingly, was in it. And it was shock to me because I've never seen pictures of me and my mom. And I probably shouldn't have said this, but I said, wow, I can't believe you were there, and it was for my communion. And she said, yeah, I was there a lot. And then she got really quiet, and she said, you're still mad at me, aren't you? And I felt her guilt that she put not only me but my grandparents, my brothers and sisters, and her brothers and sisters through. And I had to step back and really connect to Creator and ask for strength in that moment, and tell my mom that you know, I forgive her, and that is part of my story. And that story gives me the ability to come into community and into spaces like this to be able to share my medicine. No one ever told me I had medicine before. And now that I am so grateful for the maestros and maestras in my life that have guided me to help, because it's always been there. I just didn't know it. And as the maestro said, each and every one of us carries medicine. And when, you know, something powerful happens in that círculo, like it's almost, you know, we can't put words into it, the power that happens and the healing. And so I think I'll end by saying, I think it's really, really critical that we go on a journey with compassion for ourselves, because oftentimes I beat myself up. And I would hear those messages, you're gonna be just like your mom. And that turned into a lot of rage and anger and not knowing how to show up as a mother, as a sister, and show up in community. And
it was hard. I was sitting there in the halfway house when I was a kid, going through all my troubles and stuff, and my mom gave me a picture of the Virgen, and to me the Virgen always represented the love of my grandma. I didn't even know all the dogma associated with it. I just said, that's the mother of all of us, you know. And if I need help, there's no one better than my mom. So we have these medicines, you know. At first, when I got out of high school and I graduated, you know, I was really politicized. And I got into the movement. I started an organization called Todos Somos Raza, and I started an organization called Barrio Warriors. And we were the warriors. Because I knew that all my homies, we were all warriors, but we were the warriors for the wrong thing, for different gang and all this kind of stuff. So we got together, and there was West Siders, North Side. We all got together and we started this thing called Barrio Warriors. And we put out magazines, Todos Somos Raza, one called Consafos. We had a little center called the Centro del Barrio where we did tutoring. And mind you, we're all in our 20s. We didn't know what we were doing other than we wanted to help. The evolution of that found my way into a ceremony. And I always wanted to attach my social work in the community with somehow this spiritual work, because I knew I was still hurting inside. And I went and I started going to ceremonies, and I fought with it a lot. You know, I'd go in there and I wouldn't know what to do. You know, I didn't know how to pray, I didn't know how to sing, I didn't know how to do anything. You know, I just went in there, and all these, my elders would always tell me, like, listen, your ancestors are talking to you. I didn't get that until one day I listened and I heard it. And they showed me certain things, and I paid attention to certain things. And pretty soon I'm in a position of leadership there as well, you know, praying for people. So I evolved from Barrio Warriors to Barrio Curandero. We have a sweat every month, you know, and in there we talk about the idea of Tloquenohuaque, this spiritual interconnectedness that we need. In the barrio, we're all disconnected. And that's part of what I saw in myself. I was disconnected from who I was. The idea of La Cultura Cura has really helped me, because at first I had learned about my history and I was angry. Over time though, I said, I want to do this because I love my people. Not because I'm mad at the white man, I'm mad at the system, I'm mad at that. I mean, there's plenty to be mad at. But I wanted to first heal myself, and I'm still that, and I truly believe heal people, heal people. So anyway, I was really excited when this book came, because part of learning all the things that we're talking about, having that reconnectedness, the Tloquenohuaque and all this stuff, is being connected to our people in every single way through art.
From a colonia in San Antonio, a place where Raza dreams of recovering stolen borderlands. As they blow smoke at an unholy treaty, she came, married into a family of curanderos from Sonora in a traditional matrimonio. Her battered body always tangled by a thread as she battled in wretched spirit worlds. She stepped into Nepantla, the sacred space between two mediating worlds. But now her body hangs onto a smoldering dream, while a machete dripping from the blood of spiritual war drops to the ground. But she leaves not defeated. We, however, feel cheated as a hummingbird flies away into the night. To us, she came as a healer, a curandera with open arms, a personality full of charms, to purify the air, llena de mal puesto, and life's harms. She was surrounded by a healing aura with extra sensory perception, identifying hidden deception, born with El Don, the gift of healing, performing a cultural rite, followed by rituals as she did sage on the stage of life, men imprisoned in a cage to cleanse souls from burning rage. She stood amongst us with radiance, sharing historical knowledge never taught in college. She possessed magical powers, not a needle and thread to sew up historical sores or settle old scores. She came to heal wounded spirits, full of pain and sorrow, stuck in human crevices, needing una limpia, while a faint light of una vela provided an abundance of wisdom, a glimmer of hope to stop the moat, the languishing tears of a lost tomorrow. She was a blessed corn mother extraordinaire, with the bag full of remedios extracted from la tierra, where she now rests in peace. Adios, mi hermana, Doña Diana Velázquez.